Hello? I'm here to present a little video essay, if you will, called Who I Am, Unfiltered. And I'm just going to talk about myself here, not in terms of specifics, name, address, where I happen to have grown up, trying to go into the more introspective side of things, and just kind of express myself. Which can be rather hard. As a matter of fact, before I started filming this, I was filming myself saying, well, gee, how do I go about this? How do I express myself? How do I actually tell people who I am, unfiltered, and just get the whole truth out? Because it's hard to get the whole truth out. It's a natural thing to hold something back, even from yourself, you know. And because of our own flawed natures and such, we make assumptions about others, about ourselves. It's in combat against bad assumptions, I guess. And I guess among other things. That I'm trying to just do this. And just tell you who I am. Not in terms of any statistics, just like the real meaningful level. And we'll see where I go from there. We'll see what we can do. I'll tell you right now, this is not polished. This is not scripted. This is me seeing how well I can just do things. So there's a coin I just dropped right there. Yes, I happen to have these coins in my hand for no particular reason. I like to shake them in my hand there. Kind of stimulates thinking or something. There's a place to start. I love thinking. I love thinking. I love God. You ask me who I am. I'll tell you. I am a servant of God. And I have great creative works to do, as I see it. Forgive me if that sounds arrogant, but I'm trying to be unfiltered here. And if I'm actually filtering myself by adding a layer of arrogance on, then perhaps you can see that. And better learn from it. I'm just going to go with what I can try, because if I sit around and try and pick it out exactly, scientifically, figure out, well, who am I? That's hard to do. Better, I think, to just start talking. Particularly start talking in this place with just a camera and an empty room here, where I don't feel particularly like I have to filter anything. So, I consider myself a deeply religious Christian. But not in any sort of ceremonial sense. I ask you, I don't really go to church, really. I have a small group, you know, of people, and we do some Bible study and some prayer and stuff, you know, and we meet once a week. I don't actually go to a physical church and sit down. I've done all that, you know. I've done all that back in my hometown and everything. And I have nothing against my old hometown church. A lot of good people there. I'll tell you what I like most about church is the people. What I like least is just the ceremony. You know. I mean, that's a nice song. It is. I want to know God on a personal level, right? I want to really know the guy. I want to do it outside of any arbitrary rules, right? I don't want to say, well, you have to go to this particular building or call this a church, and you have to pray in this way, and then you sit and you stand and you do as we tell you. You know what? No, I don't particularly like people telling me what to do. You know, unless I can really see the logic behind their orders, right? If I can trust someone as a leader, like, okay, I can see why this makes sense, then I'll do it. Otherwise, you know, if there's no particular reason why we're doing it this way, why should we be doing it that way? So who I am, then? Did the word rebellious come to mind there from what I just said? I wouldn't call myself rebellious. I don't try to overthrow the system. Though I can be a bit suspicious of systems. Because I'm trying to do it as purely as possible. I'm trying to be independent, you might say. Not independent in some lone wolf sense, well, I'll figure out God and I'll figure out my life and that's all there is to it. No, I don't want to do that. But it has to be my way. This is part of who I am. I have my own way of doing things. I spent A lot of time in some school and work also. Mainly it's been school for me. Very stressed. And there's a part of who I am that's, it's hard to talk about, I guess. It's hard to talk about, your past problems. You know, triumphs is easier, isn't it? Current good things happening, current bad things happening even. A past problem, you're talking to someone and you don't know how much they really want to listen, and you don't know how much you really want to tell them. You know, for something that's in the past, or, you know, somewhat in the past. But I'll try and talk about it here. High school was a really mixed bag for me. I have good memories, a lot of friends, and a few clubs and stuff that were good. You know, some good teachers, some bad teachers, though. Some people who just didn't care. You know, I had problems in high school, and really all of them just derived from sheer schoolwork. You hear all these cliches of, you know, you have problems because of a girlfriend. I've never actually had a girlfriend. Maybe I will in some future time. I certainly know a few girls who happen to be friendly with me. Anyway, I never had a particular problem with that. A huge thing is rebelliousness against your parents is supposed to happen. You know. Not really. My parents' rules were, you know, they made sense. Matter of fact, most of them were really written down, like you have to be home by a certain time, because they knew I'd always be home by, you know, a reasonable time anyway. Mainly because I didn't go out very much. Because I had flipping homework to do. You know, I had some things here and there. But mainly it was just been homework. And just stress. And I'm trying to get this across. To get every aspect of it across. Try and be unfiltered. Of how much it hurt then and how much more better I am now. And what we ought to be feeling about that. You know. If you break your arm and then later it heals, you don't, you know, continue constantly talking about the broken arm you once had. Well, it's better now. It is. But perhaps you can caution others against doing whatever you did when you broke your arm, huh? Perhaps I can caution you, whoever may see this, against doing wrong things. Speaking of wrong things, I didn't mention this. A lot of things happen, one of the things that happens in high school a lot, drugs and alcohol, right? And sex, for that matter. Promiscuity. None of that with me. Another part of who I am, part I'm proud of. I have never had a drop of alcohol, unless you count when I was an infant. I was an infant once, and I had a sore tooth apparently, and apparently a drop of alcohol cures. I don't think that counts. I was not, you know, conscious. Anyway, I've never had a drop of alcohol. In my church, when we have communion, we use grape juice. Because we don't believe in giving alcohol to kids. And I've actually seen them pour it. I went to a Catholic church one week, because part of communion and confirmation, you're supposed to check out other churches. And I took the bread and I walked right past the wine. Not because, you know, I think communion's evil. And particularly there's research that says, you know, if you have a little bit of alcohol, it could be good for your heart or something. Fine, for those people. Me, I value my mind very highly. I don't want anyone messing with it. I don't go to hypnotists, for one thing. Knowing, of course, that hypnotists can't actually take control of your mind. But still, like, nah, don't do, no. Because I value my mind. So I've never had a drop of alcohol. Matter of fact, I have never even seen illegal drinking. Because I never went to those kinds of parties. It sounds like I'm bragging right now, doesn't it? Well, I'm trying to be unfiltered. I'm trying to tell you who I am. You know, regardless of kind of how it sounds, I guess. I mean, I'm trying to be clear, you know.